welcome back. So today our journey starts from City Square, and we shall join Kampala Road and head to the end of Kampala on the northeast side. Anyway, here right now we are on the Constitutional Square, but this square is actually a 2-acre space located in the heart of Kampala's political and economic nerve center. It has had its name changed over the years, first from Government Square, then City Square, and then in 1995 it was renamed the Constitutional Square, a name that refuses to hold. But today many people know it as City Square. It is bordering Mapera House, which is the home of Centenary Bank, and actually in the distance, someday I will show you, there is a war memorial right on the other half of the square, and it's the oldest landmark commemorating the World War. In 1937-39, it was actually established and built by the Protectorate government to honor about 1389 Ugandans who died in the World War I and over 77,000 that participated in the World War II. It is actually strategically located in the center of the city, and off of it we shall start our ride off of Kampala Road and then take you all the way to the eastern parts of Kampala, Uganda. But for now, I think I need to buy myself some bit of socks, pair of socks, before I embark on a motorcycle ride. So you'll find a lot of traders and hawkers on this road. The city is recovering. Today is the 9th of December. So let me first get myself a pair of socks. Socks is a make. So I'm going to buy a pair of socks to wear it to represent the journey that I'm going to take of the city, I think in 4K. And kanza mbalire wano nedda just bw'otabeera ne socks nga teyinza otandika okufuna akawoowo at least entuuyo ezikwata kati bw'ozijjamu alright, so I was telling her that when you so let's embark onto our journey. And right now these are commuter taxis that take you as far as eastern Uganda. But it's a delight to be in Kampala. Kampala is actually a busy and bustling city. So in case you're in Kampala and you're lost, just ask them to take you to City Square or Mapera building. And then the person that needs to find you, just tell them you're at City Square or Mapera building. It will be very easy for you to find it. Anyway, let's find a motorcycle ride and head on into the distance to see what the city of Kampala actually looks like and what it carries. In the distance I see Church House, and Church House is basically one of the headquarters of Equity Bank and built by the Church of Uganda. Those are the Protestants. So for now, let me find a way of getting a motorcycle bike. Isn't that a bit of repetition? Anyway, as I sort myself, let me leave you the view of this street. I am receiving a call. Allow me to answer this. Hello? Hello? Can I call you back in 30 minutes? Okay. Yeah, so this is very interesting symphony of cars right now. I'm actually surprised that the city is already reawakening even before the fast. Usually, I would expect that because it's a holiday season, a lot of people would still be in the relaxed mode. Anyway, it's a Monday, and I suppose the city does not want to understand. All right, so let's start with this road. Kampala Road is a street that was born as a footbridge in the 1890s, and originally this road was the link between two primary hills of power. That was Old Kampala Hill in that distance where Lugard raised the Union Jack, and Nakasariro Hill in this direction. And it's very interesting. This Kampala Road actually has a very nice story. In the early 1900s, this road was dark dirt track. First street lights weren't electric, they were kerosene powered lamps mounted on wooden poles lit by hand every evening by lamplighters employed by the colonial government. It was until the mid-1920s that the first spark of electricity arrived, fueled by small thermal generators that littered these roads. Now, by the 1950s, as you can see in front of us, and 60s, this road became the Wall Street of East Africa. The Bank of Uganda, right there in the 1966, and the Grindley Bank, now Stanbic, transformed the architecture of this slum. And in the 1990s, the Bank of Uganda was actually at the center of Uganda's economy. But since our journey is taking us to the eastern parts of Kampala, Uganda, let's take this walk. In front, what you see is actually Cairo Bank, Equity Bank, Centenary Bank, and then the Bank of Uganda, the one that regulates them. So when I say this is the Wall Street of East Africa, believe me, not in the sense of trading bonds and all that, but as it comes to banking. Motorcycle action is really great in the city center, which is a very beautiful thing. Very beautiful thing. So we are going to hail a motorcycle and head off into the distance, and as we show you Kampala, Uganda. We're actually taking you to the very end of Kampala, Uganda, which is a very interesting place to be. Now more of the Bank of Uganda building is beautiful. I think this is even brutalist architecture. Sometime back I had my torn notes, and this is the entrance you would take to swap out all the banknotes. They were kind to me. They are kind to me. Anyway, so I'm going to keep my Boda ride at basically the edge of Bank of Uganda. And actually adjacent to the Bank of Uganda is the post office. So you will find that this street is actually pretty busy. Kampala Boulevard. This is a structure that has been uplifted in the previous years, and I see Adidas there, Javas, Optica, KFC, UBA. It's a giant building. And the Uganda Postal Service also has a magnificent structure. However, Uganda has some really nice pieces of architecture. Very, very nice. Very nice. So the symphony of motorcycles on the road is quite intriguing. And for now, I need to find myself a motorcycle ride, and we see where that will lead us to. All right. So let me first find a motorcycle ride, and then we go. Jevad. Oddawa. Ha. Mbaye njagadde adde mukono. Agojja kundeega okyali mu kibuga. Kati nammwe onteekerawo meka. eno etonyize ngenza okukibalamu nga tonyize kale tugende. Alright, so I have gotten myself a motorcycle ride and let's head. We've started Kampala Road and then we are now going into the distance. So let's see what we have here. So we are now heading into out of the city center, and this is Champ Towers. It used to be the headquarters of Uganda Commercial Bank, but now it's no longer. And this you see here is Uganda House, and now the spiritual home of the UPC, and was built by the UPC government. And along this street you'll find a lot of eating points. And as for one, we have this one right here. It used to be Nando's, but Nando's has long left this street. It's a very interesting journey into the city, and we are flying through it like nothing before. And then now we have this. These are the headquarters of the Uganda Railway headquarters. The railway lines reached Kampala, Uganda in 1931. And you can see the signages. I see Kampala Road, I see Kampala Road, King George VI Way, which is right, that one there. And this is to be the home of the WBS. More of the infrastructure along Kampala Road. And we are on our journey. A very quick one indeed. So we are soon approaching the Centenary Park, which was born in 2006 to celebrate the century celebration of Kampala. That is, and I will show you when we reach right there. And this road is very interesting. I see Coffee House, coffee being the most commercial crop of Kampala. This Kampala Water, International Water Headquarters. I see Bank of Africa. And this place that is still closed. Conrad House, one of the old ones on Kampala Road. And now this is the junction of City Square. Right here. Sorry, the junction of Centenary Park. So this takes you all the way to Mulago. So I do not know how this road would be called, but I think it may be Golf Course Road, because on the right you find Golf Course. Centenary Park that we were telling you is right there. And previously the Uganda Electoral Commission used to be here. Now they sit at Entebbe Road. I don't know whether they're renovating this place. But yes, so we are back onto this route. It is breathtaking. And actually this Kampala Road goes on to join Jinja Road from our right here. And we are now joining Jinja Road, and Jinja Road is one of those roads that are synonymous to electricity. When the Owen Falls Dam was commissioned in the 1950s. And here is the Internal Affairs, Ministry of Internal Affairs, where you get your passports and all of that. The Ministry of Internal Affairs borders Uganda, but since 1964 they have been the silver roofs over our heads. And I see the industrial fire that were first of the kind in East Africa. So, this is more of a recent development. Most of the new cars established in the Jinja Road Police Station, in case you missed it, is right there. And these are some of their buildings where they house their people. And in case you're in Uganda, you know that their main newspaper, the New Vision, is in that direction. That's where you'll find their headquarters. So now the yellow wavy wall that marks the boundary of Lugogo Cricket over the perimeter wall, it was established in 1957. This is the Emerald Heart of Ascot. I can almost hear the roars of the crowds from the first international matches in the 60s. Very interesting. And it is recently been hosting a lot of concerts, so we are now approaching the Lugogo area. In fact, that road that you see joining this Jinja Road, that is the Lugogo bypass. This Lugogo bypass takes you as far as Kira Road Police Station and Kira Road itself. So this initially used to house game and ShopRite, shopping centers for the urban elite of the city. And it's commonly one of the happening places, with Chadondo rugby ground right there in the distance. And I see Kampala's traffic is returning. I think a lot of people coming back from the city, from the outside the city and into the city. So that's Chadondo rugby ground, that fenced off green stuff. That's where people come to enjoy golf, and I believe it will host a lot of events on the 31st as people transition into the new year. We are fast approaching Nakawa, and hopefully in Nakawa I shall read you a poem. And so when you reach this section, now it is synonymous with Nakawa Market and Nakawa and Makerere University Business School, which main entrance is in that direction. Now Makawa Market is right here, and this ground has transformed since the 90s from a quiet college into a furnace where the next generation of Africa CEOs are forged. And this market actually started by selling around under mango trees to capture people who were coming from as far as Tororo, Uganda, and those districts. It is one of the biggest food markets in Uganda, and behind it are lands that used to house the housing estates in Napa, which were long sold. And in the distance, behind these walls, where you see those metallic fabricated beds, is the Makerere University Business School. Now from this point on, that road, I don't know how it is called, but I think that's Yuasa Road. And so a lot of carbons will be found around Nakawa, which is a bit of an interesting thing. And I will meet some form of jam. I don't know whether this is because of the lights or because of motor activity. And let's go on our journey to the streets of Kampala, Uganda. We used to call this Yuasa. I think it is still Yuasa because I see the Y. It's actually Y-U-A-S-A. It's a carbon. So now we're approaching what would be Spear Motors. More carbons. And we see Nakawa Vocational Training College, and the high-rise structure behind is the URA building, where your taxes, Uganda Revenue Authority, decides to collect or keep them. Now at that intersection, where this Jinja Road, I see a lot of trade happening. So Jinja Road. So we are now cruising past what would be right there. Sorry, Spear Motors. Now, a dream of Gordon Wabamuno, which started in a small garage in the 1973. So now I'm climbing towards Kyambogo University, which is in the Kyambogo area. Yeah, so let's head. In 2003. Now that takes you to Kyambogo, one of their gates, and this other structure that you see here actually is not part of the university, but just borders the university playground. So Kyambogo University, if I am to give you a bit of history, is a union of three ancient schools merged in 2003. And we shall find another entrance to it when we reach Banda. Banda is also another trading center or township around this street of Jinja Road. It's actually not a street, it's the main highway that takes you as far as Jinja, to the source of the Nile, as many refer Jinja to. And actually, if you're wondering what the Nile is one of the longest rivers in the world. Actually, it's the longest river in the world. I think followed closely by the Amazon River. So we are now approaching the Banda area. You will notice that there are a lot of traditional schools in Uganda, among them Nabisonsa, and that's the road. Nabisonsa is a Muslim founded school and one of the high performing and prestigious traditional schools within the country. Traditional in the sense that it has had generations to deal with. And in the distance, that is the Chireka Hill, one of the suburbs of Uganda, and the slums of Chireka. Now this road takes you to one of the entrances of Kyambogo University, and we are in Banda. Banda is a very interesting residential suburb. Actually, every time you see a hill down the foothills are usually residential suburbs where the low-class Ugandans, the manpower that run the industry of Kampala reside. It's a sight to behold, where life is raw and unfiltered. So visit there. Uganda is full of lovely people. And we are in Nakawa. And Nakawa actually, I think, has the home of Pepsi Cola beverages. Right. And actually, these are areas where the proposed Nakawa Industrial Park is, and you can see some of those warehouses. But Uganda is an interesting country. Industrial parks are actually intertwined with residences. And we are on Jinja Road, actually heading to the end of Kampala. And this is the north, and this is the east-northeast, or we will call it the Eastern Road. So in case you're in Kampala, Uganda, the capital city of Uganda, then the road to take is this in case you want to go to the east. town that is Jinja, after which this road has been named. So let's go. And if you're a tourist and you want to do Nile water rafting, then this is the road that you will have to take. So we are approaching the Chireka town. And this is the life in Chireka. Chireka is also basking. Okay, it's busy. I was looking for a certain word, and actually there's a railway that passes parallel to that. That is in Chireka. Now this route right there that will turn right will take you to Namugongo, Uganda Matters Shrine, one of the visiting Ugandan roads are interesting. It's at times called organized chaos because it has have to intermingle with motorcycle rides, and it's about being alert, what in Uganda would be said looking out for your needs and interests. And yes, Sportsview Hotel. And when they say Sportsview Hotel, that's because we are soon approaching the Nambole Stadium. And that's the magnificent Nambole Stadium where many national matches have been held. And this was donated and funded by the Chinese government. Why it is named Mandela National Stadium, I do not understand. And so this marks the boundary between Chireka town and Boyogerere town. So that is Nambole for you, where many countries have been slaughtered. And even at around this time, I was going to miss to show you the Northern Bypass, which was a recent installment probably in the 2010s to relieve the jam between Kampala and make Jinja Road less congested. We are about to approach Boda town. The town is also a very interesting town to behold. This road that you call Jinja Road has a lot of history. It actually was influenced by the railway line, which is on the other side of Nambole. So they ran parallel to each other, leading to Jinja. And Jinja was an industrial town in Uganda, the leading industrial town. Lately, it's less of that. And I think that's the reason the Owen Force camp was placed in Jinja, or the industrial town became Jinja because they were within the source of hydroelectricity power, just close to it. But I think with advancement in transmission technology, that has since reduced, and there are more industries in Kampala, to a point that where we are heading at Namanga, it's also an industrial park. Wanje? Kare. So we are taking a rest here. It's actually an electric bike, so they are going to swap the battery, I believe. I think I'm going to leave you with the scenes of the road as we regroup. So, yeah, it's an electric bike. And it's interesting that this transition has to happen when I was just talking about the Jinja and the hydroelectricity power. And now that we are here, I think let me tell you a thing or two. There was a poem I was supposed to have recited for you while in Nakawa, and I think I'm going to do it now. I walk through the gates where the morning is born, in the shadows of mobs where the red soil is worn. Nakawa is waking a symphony of sound, where the wealth of the garden is poured onto the ground. I see the matoke stacked high like a wall, the onions and cabbages, the pride of them all. I hear the laughters of the Nalongos in wait, the queens of the market, the keepers of the faith. They have been here since dawn, before the first light, turning the struggle of light into something bright. From the trucks of the east to the baskets of home, this is the altar where the hungry will roam. I leave the chaos, but I carry the scent of a place where every shilling is honestly spent. Nakawa is the giant, the pulse of the way, providing the strength for the rest of my day. Yep, that's the poem as we swap the battery. So let me answer this other call. Hello? Yeah, can I call in like 30 minutes? Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, that's Jinja Road. So I think I'll give you another poem when I reach the end of Kampala, which should be at Namanve. And you guys will let me know in the comment section if my poems are any nice. But the other thing you need to know about Jinja Road is that it had for a very long time been the only path for goods traveling from the port of Mombasa to the heart of Uganda. And the hydropower station in Jinja, in 1954, Queen Elizabeth II commissioned the Owen Falls Dam in Nalu Valley, today called actually Nalu Valley. Okay. Funny enough, the railway that runs parallel to this road used to mostly transport cash crops, that is cotton, coffee, and copper, which built the nation. So it's okay. Ate wali buzibu era naba bandinywedde amafuta. Bakiteezaamuko oba abantu tebanaba kukomawo. Nalabanga bu TikTok nga abantu batuuka ku swapping station nga amanda tewali. Bano baani bano? Oh, wamma. Bonna balinze. Aha, n'ogenderawo. Oli mutuufu. Kitegeeza bali ku kituufu kati ne bali bayinza okutandika okudda ewammwe. Abantu bangi nziraba. Mugisigaze. Boyogerere. So right in the distance we're actually going to make Watoto Church before we reach Nama. And this is the view of it from the back of the motorcycle. I think the wind will make me less audible, but bear with me, comes with the territory. Within the city nowadays. I don't know whether it's because we are heading to an election period. 15th January we shall be electing for presidents and members of parliament. This section of Namanga is always jammed. I don't know whether that's because of the many heavy trucks that need to access the Namanga industrial area. So that right there in the distance is Watoto East Church. So in case you're in Uganda and you're heading east, when you see Watoto East Church, it's a beautiful place. And it has uplifted the look of this area over the recent days. Anyway, now we are approaching Namanga. You can see now industries already starting up. So right now I'm at the edge where the pavement meets the dream, where the eucalyptus once whispered in a deep dark green. They call this Namanga, once a forest of shadows and sights, where the secrets of our old walls were hidden from the eyes. But look over the horizon now, the steel giants rise, and soon we'll see smoke of factories, a new kind of prayer, the scent of progress, and iron hanging thick in air. The ghost of the haunted forest have finally been laid to rest by the clatter of the conveyor belts and the labor of the best. From the red soils of Nakawa to this gate of the east, I have watched the city wake up like a beast from slumber. I hear the pulse of a nation in the hum of the lines where the mabati is forged and the plastic shine. We no longer just wait for this ship at the coast. We are building the future that we need the most. Namanga is the answer, the ironclad roof, and proof that Uganda has found its own strength and its own roof. In the end of my journey, just about here, where the work has just begun under the heat of the same relentless African sun, now clouded. The forest is gone, but new seeds are sown. Basically a city of industry that we now call our own. Namanga, I will read you a rhyme. Gwogambye obadde okomawa?
Badde nkoma mukono.
Mukono? Kati okuntuusayo mba nkwongera mmeka?
Badde nkoma bweyogerere naye ntera omugga wuwano.
Okay. So nfune wondeka oba ommaleyo mukono?
Oyongeremuko?
Ommazeeyo mukono. Of course, of course. Bankongera munga mmeka? Biri. Okay, tewali buzibu. Alright, so I've just negotiated my ride to Mukono, but for now, this is basically where Kampala ends. So since I promised you a poem when we reach Namave, let me do just that. So I walk through the gates where the morning is born, in the shadows of mobs where the red soil is worn. Nakawa is walking a symphony of sound, the wealth It's interesting. I was reading you an older poem of mine. So this is actually the end of Namave. And now let me actually read for you the Namave poem, since we've come to the end of it. I stand at the I actually read it to you already. So now let's begin our journey into Mukono. So let's get started.